Hey all, here are OS Reviews. Today we're taking a closer look at the Divoom Pixoo 64. This is a pixel art digital display which can show off different animations, even act as a social media tracker, clock for showing the time, as well as other just really unique animations, which definitely is a conversation starter and pretty interesting to add to the decor or lighting of any room, even acts again as a mood lamp. So this is similar to other products we checked out from Divoom in the past. They really specialize on these pixel art retro displays, but this is their largest version yet. The 64 indicating that they're 64 by 64 pixels. Acting as a digital bulletin board is another idea. Packaging here is pretty simple and straightforward. So we do have a QR code that you can scan to download the Divoom app. Same one used on their other products like the Ditto and other speakers that we've seen, although this model doesn't have a built-in speaker, so that's one thing to keep in mind. Inside of which you'll find the Pixoo 64 along with a power adapter. It uses a standard USB Type-C, which is great, although this one doesn't have a built-in battery, so it does need to be connected to power. You can also run it off a power bank. It's got kind of a glass or glossy texture on the front, so it's going to be a little bit shiny and reflective versus matte, but overall looks quite clean. Frame is made out of a polycarbonate plastic. Now on the top you'll have access to a power key as well as an adjustment for the brightness level of the frame, and there's also a standard tripod mount on the bottom that you can use to pop it up as a kickstand or put it into a higher elevation. And then finally on the very back here we do have additional mounts that you can use to even screw it onto the wall, just like a clock. So you can pop it open like this and have it stand upright. When we first plug it in, it will say waiting to configure. We can open up the Divoom app on our device and go over to your profile settings and then add a device. You can either connect using Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. So I've just typed in the password onto the phone and then sent it over to the frame. It takes just a few seconds to get it set up. And definitely having this really large canvas makes the animations a bit more immersive, although we still get that interesting retro effect because of these grids. It's not quite as, of course, sharp as on a modern TV or monitor, but that's kind of the point. Colors though do look very good in terms of their vibrancy, and in terms of brightness I would say it's doing all right, especially if you are in slightly dimmer environments. If you have a light source pointing directly at it, it's going to be a little bit more difficult since it does have that glossy display on the front. I do wish that maybe they would have gone with a matte coating instead, but also it's not going to be too bad, I'd say. And for what it still is eye-catching. You can put it onto, again, a desk, you can put it even onto a wall like a photo frame, and it definitely stands out. Viewing angles are also quite good because it is just using LEDs underneath. And for those that are unfamiliar, this is basically their miniature version. The other difference being those previous versions only had built-in Bluetooth. So if you wanted to change the animations, you had to connect it to the companion app to do that, and then it would just save it onto the memory and go through the loop. But on here, because it has built-in Wi-Fi on its own, you're also able to have it continuously track data. It will populate and fetch by itself since it's connected to the internet. On this first tab over is a gallery view of all the different animations which have been shared and created by different community members and from the Divoom team themselves. If you like any of these, you're able to push it over to the frame, and it is a pretty fast process. So let's say I really like this first animation, I can just tap on it, and you can see it's going to be loading there. Categorized also under different genres, like recommended, gives you a few other ones which are popular, emojis. It just creates even more options and different possibilities as their catalog continues to increase. This one here, which is a retro computer, another one here which is an interesting train pattern, just to give you guys an idea of the different options that you have here, and another one here inspired by a Mac and a keyboard, also is pretty colorful and fun in terms of its animation. Here's one for chess, the Xbox Series X/S, and you can see it try to animate itself. It's a little bit tougher because of the pixelation that is a bit more apparent on this display, but still looks really cool. And then here's one inspired by the old Nokia startup screens on those monochrome black and white displays. So you get the idea. The possibilities are endless. You can get plenty of popular cartoon characters and other famous anime that you can also find. Now I can also tap on the plus key if I wanted to create my own work by drawing a doodle, so this is also a pretty fun way to customize it. So you can say things like hello world, and it will kind of pop over there as you can see. Right now, again, we are connected using Wi-Fi. Now, under the Channel tab, you can find other clocks and setups which rely on the cloud functionality a little bit more. It will tell you the number of subscribers of a certain channel, as well as the number of views, and the time and date information, which is refreshed using the internet. And if I wanted to, I can further tap on this to customize it. For example, instead of going to this Devoom channel, I can search for another channel. So you can see how it will be just continuing to show this information in the background as those stats change, or even a more complex influencer board that can track multiple social channels at once. And other things that we can take a look at include a Zodiac-inspired clock and other very interesting financial metrics like the price of a Bitcoin right now, stock prices. It can act as a ticker, so you can change it to that, as well as change, obviously, the stocks that you care about the most. Even the scores of a certain player, if you are in League of Legends or Apex Legends, can also be customized, such as the temperature, weather info, stuff like that, which is pretty neat. Now, in the same tab, we also have the ability to not only choose clocks, but other cloud channels. So using the cloud channels, that's why you're able to see it basically switch and go into that carousel view, which is unlimited. Here's one which is a visualizer that will react to the beat of music. And so there's a microphone here that picks up the sensitivity of your sound. And you can also try out other animations as well based on what type of content you're trying to play around with. And then under settings, you can also change things like the brightness of the display. So I can make it dimmer actually, or I can even turn it almost completely off versus all the way on, as you can see there. And some other things like the recommended orientation of the display, the duration of the transitions. Now it's worth noting that, like other Devoom products, there is another tab here called Discover, which does unlock a few other special features like the aforementioned very basic games, as well as the ability to set up alarms and things like a countdown timer. However, integration with some of these features I think still needs to be unlocked from the software, so there are still a few bugs that they're working out. Because right now if I tap on Countdown, for example, it will say, please connect your phone to the same Wi-Fi network as the device, even though we are clearly connected. And some examples will be like this. Waking up, it will show a wake up screen versus breakfast. It will show a different screen, and you can set up all of these effects to pre-program it throughout your day. That's more or less it as far as our hands-on review of the Devoom Pixoo 64. Again, this is just a really neat conversation starter. Make the background of a wall or room just that much more interesting. Display different animations randomly that it can pull from the internet, as well as even act as a ticker. It's quirky, it's fun, it's easy to customize as always. Having a built-in speaker would probably make it even more compelling if it was able to act as almost a Wi-Fi internet streamer, but as it is, I already think that it's a very interesting idea and a great competitor to other Devoom pixel art displays we've seen in the past. So you can check out more details if you're interested in something like this in the links down below. That's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews of the Devoom Pixoo 64.